Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Elvis with Elvis. Now, today I'm your host, Elvis, and my co-star is Elvis. He will be joining us in spirits today. He gave me the thumbs up on this video, so we're gonna jump right in and talk about Elvis. So, my man Elvis Presley, arguably and considerably one of the best rock and rollers of all time, was born on January 8th, 1935 in Tupelo, Mississippi. His father was Vernon Presley, and his mother was Lady's Love. And his father, Vernon Presley, built a two-bedroom shotgun-style house to prepare for Elvis Presley's and his identical twin brother's arrival. But sadly, his identical twin brother did not make it. He died during birth. And so going through childhood, Elvis didn't really have that brotherhood figure, like a really close best friend. So he grew close to his mother and his father, especially close to his mother. Elvis, he's a little mama's boy, kind of like I am. So we share that in common. But so when he was 13, he went to Memphis. That's where that's where you started recording. Was in Memphis at that time. So he went to Memphis when he was 13 to record just a little song for his mother. And little did he know that this would turn into probably the biggest career of his lifetime. So when the secretary heard Elvis singing this little birthday present song for his mother, she realized that he had potential. So she contacted her boss, Sam Phillips, which was the owner of Sun Records, and at this time in music, he was probably one of the biggest recorders that there was. So if you want to get started anywhere, this is where you would go. And so Sam Phillips came in, he heard Elvis, he was like, hey, let's pair him with some musicians. So he paired him with some musicians. They made a group record called That's All Right in 1954. Then after that, Elvis signed a one-year contract with Louisiana Hayride. So Elvis started doing live shows, and this really resonated with teens because Elvis is kind of that hip, new, like 20-year-old spunky new dude that just comes into town, all hot and dandy, and all the girls love him, kind of like me. And so, yeah. So he signs this record deal in 1955 and gets $35,000 with a $50,000 signing bonus, and that is a lot of money in that time. So after that, he releases his first album called Rock and Roll, classic name, and this reaches about 1 million in sales, which is roughly $9 million today. Okay. So after Elvis releases his first album, Rock and Roll, and been singing for about a year, he was in a movie called Love Me Tender in 1956, and later went on to do Jailhouse Rock, which was as big as The Wizard of Oz, and that's where we got his famous song, Jailhouse Rock. Also, during this 1956 movie period, Elvis made the classic song Heartbreak Hotel, and I'm about to do a live video for you. Well, since my baby left me, it's down no place to dwell. It's down to the end along the street at Heartbreak Hotel. I've been so lonely, baby. You made me so lonely, baby. I've been so lonely I could die. Elvis, thank you very much. Elvis has left the building, folks. Yeah. During 1957, Elvis receives a draft notice from the Army, and, as a singer, you're like, oh, frick, this may ruin my career, but he went to Fort Hood for training, and after that, he went to Europe. He was stationed in Europe, and when he got there, he had a ton of fans in Europe already, which is just crazy to imagine considering how long he'd been singing. But so this did not really ruin his career at all. And during 1960, when he came home, he actually had even bigger success from being in the Army. Okay. So when he came back from the Army in 1960, he was actually more successful than he was before he left. And while he was over in the Army, he got interested in karate, and it's said to be a little tidbit of information here that Elvis Presley is a black belt, or was a black belt in karate, but that's never been truly proven. Also, he started doing a lot of movies in 1960 period, and with these movies he did the soundtracks for them, a lot of the soundtracks for them. So he would like write and perform the music in the movies, and he did 31 movies. And after the kind of movies settled down a little bit, he married Priscilla Presley in 1967, and in 1968 they had their child Lisa Marie. After having their child Lisa Marie in 1968, in 1969 Elvis booked 57 shows in Las Vegas with International Hotel, and 2 years later, in 1971, he won the Lifetime Achievement Award. Him and his wife got a divorce in 1973, and sadly 5 years later he died at age 42 in 1977. But even though he lived a short life, he is arguably and considerably one of the best rock and rollers of all time. He has given us so much culture for rock and roll and has shaped a lot of what rock and roll was and is today. And he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1986. Thank you for watching. This is Elvis with Elvis. Thank you, Elvis. Thank you, Elvis. We're out.
Thank you very much.
And he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1886.
1980.
Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley.